Hello everyone! Today, we're diving into the fascinating history of the Messerschmitt Me 262, a revolutionary aircraft that forever changed the landscape of aerial combat. Known as the world's first operational jet-powered fighter, the Me 262 was a marvel of engineering and a game-changer during its time in World War II. Unlike the traditional piston-engine planes that dominated the skies, the Me 262 stood out with its sleek, swept-wing design and twin turbojet engines, allowing it to reach a staggering top speed of over 540 miles per hour. This incredible speed and innovation were made possible by the vision of designers like Rudolf Opel and Adolf Bussmann, whose advanced aerodynamic principles helped reduce drag and push aviation technology into the jet age. But as groundbreaking as this aircraft was, its journey wasn't without significant challenges. From the temperamental Jumo 004 engines to political and resource constraints, the Me 262's story is one of both triumph and struggle, a tale that highlights its role as the grandfather of modern fighters. The Messerschmitt Me 262, the world's first operational jet-powered fighter aircraft, completely changed aerial combat with its introduction during World War II. Unlike its piston-engine contemporaries, the Me 262 featured a sleek, swept-wing design and twin turbojet engines, making it significantly faster. With a top speed of over 540 miles per hour, this groundbreaking aircraft became a cornerstone of modern jet aviation and paved the way for future advancements in fighter technology. Designers Rudolf Opel and Adolf Bussmann, the latter an aerodynamics genius, contributed to the Me 262's advanced aerodynamic structure, focusing on reducing drag and enhancing speed. The swept-wing design not only allowed the Me 262 to outrun enemy aircraft, but also redefined air combat tactics in the jet age. The aircraft's innovative design principles, including its slim fuselage and carefully engineered wing geometry, would influence post-war fighter aircraft for decades. The Me 262's power came from its twin Junkers Jumo 004 engines, a technological marvel of its time, but fraught with challenges. These engines marked a dramatic leap from the piston engines that had powered aircraft through the first half of the 20th century. However, they also brought with them a host of problems that engineers could only partially solve due to the technological limitations of the era. The Jumo 004, designed by Anselm Franz of Junkers, was one of the first production turbojet engines in aviation history. Its axial flow design was more efficient than earlier centrifugal designs, but this complexity led to significant reliability issues. The engine's components, especially the turbine blades, had to endure extreme temperatures, often beyond the heat tolerance of the metals available at the time. This resulted in frequent failures of the turbine blades, a critical problem that drastically reduced the engine's operational lifespan. The Jumo 004 engines were highly sensitive to pilot handling. Rapid throttle adjustments could cause the engines to flame out or experience compressor stalls, a problem exacerbated by the primitive fuel injection technology of the era. The lack of sophisticated control systems that modern jet engines possess meant that maintaining the engine's performance within the safe operating envelope required meticulous attention and skill from the pilot. Maintenance was another daunting challenge. The engines required frequent overhauls. However, the scarcity of resources during the war made this increasingly difficult. Replacing an engine every 25 flight hours was not only a logistical nightmare, but also a heavy burden on the war effort, consuming precious materials and man-hours. Engineers implemented several field modifications and upgrades over the aircraft's deployment, such as tweaks to the blade materials and changes to the fuel injection system. But the engines never fully reached the reliability levels of their piston engine counterparts. One of the most consequential missteps in the history of the Me 262 was Adolf Hitler's insistence on using it as a blitz bomber rather than a pure jet fighter. Hitler believed that the jet's speed would be best utilized in avoiding enemy fighters during bombing missions. This decision delayed the aircraft's introduction as an interceptor, a role for which it was originally designed. This redirection of focus led engineers to modify the originally sleek and agile fighter to carry bombs, compromising its aerodynamic efficiency and maneuverability. When the Me-262 was finally allowed to operate in its intended role as a fighter, it proved highly effective, showcasing its ability to outmatch any Allied aircraft with its superior speed and firepower. However, by then, the strategic advantage it could have offered was significantly diminished due to the limited number of aircraft available and the advanced stage of the war. The production of the Me-262 was severely hampered by Allied bombing campaigns targeting German industrial facilities. To mitigate these attacks, the manufacturing process was decentralized across multiple sites, resulting in logistical nightmares. Components and partially completed airframes were dispersed across multiple locations, complicating assembly and maintenance efforts. The lack of coordination and the frequent relocation of manufacturing sites delayed production at a time when Germany could least afford it. Critical resources, such as metals suitable for high-temperature applications in jet engines, were in short supply, leading to compromises in the quality and durability of components. These resource constraints impacted not only the quantity of aircraft produced, but also their operational reliability. Despite these challenges, approximately 1,400 Me-262s were produced, but only a fraction saw active service due to maintenance issues and shortages of trained pilots. The introduction of the Me-262 into the Luftwaffe's arsenal required innovative tactics to maximize its effectiveness while minimizing its vulnerability, particularly on the ground. Due to its revolutionary design and capabilities, it also became a prime target for Allied forces. To protect the Me-262 from Allied reconnaissance and airstrikes, Luftwaffe engineers implemented extensive camouflage measures. One of the most significant tactics involved using heavily wooded areas near airfields to hide the aircraft. These locations were carefully selected for their natural cover, and additional camouflage nets were often draped over the aircraft when parked, blending the jets into the surrounding landscape. Makeshift hangars and damaged buildings provided further protection from shrapnel and blast effects during air raids. Mobility was another critical factor. The Me-262 was often towed by specialized tractors, known as Schutzschlepper, which quickly moved the jets from their hidden locations to the runways. This mobility was crucial for reducing the time the aircraft were exposed on open runways, where they were most vulnerable to attack. For ground attack missions, the Me-262 could be equipped with additional armaments, such as bombs and rockets. It had hardpoints under the wings to carry two 250 kg bombs or 2 racks of R-4M rockets. The R-4M rocket, in particular, added to the Me-262's lethality. These unguided rockets were fired in salvos and were effective against both air and ground targets. The rockets, with their high explosive warheads, were typically used to break up formations of enemy bombers before the Me-262 closed in for cannon attacks. The Me-262's standard armament included 430mm Mk108 cannons, which were devastating against enemy aircraft. Later variants, such as the Me-262 A1/U4 Volkserstrer bomber destroyer, were equipped with a massive 50mm Mk214 cannon. This experimental cannon was designed to destroy Allied bombers with a single hit, addressing the Luftwaffe's urgent need to counter the increasing frequency of Allied bombing raids. Integrating such a large and heavy cannon into the Me-262 posed significant challenges. The Mk214A was mounted in the nose, replacing the 430mm Mk108 cannons. This installation required modifications to the aircraft structure to accommodate the size and recoil of the cannon. The weight of the cannon and its ammunition also affected the aircraft's handling characteristics, reducing its agility and speed, which were critical attributes of the original Me-262 design. The effectiveness of the MK-214, a cannon in combat, was a subject of considerable interest. The cannon had a relatively low rate of fire due to its size and the mechanical complexities involved in cycling such large rounds. Moreover, the cannon's significant recoil and the vibrations it produced when fired presented challenges for accuracy, especially during high-speed jet combat. Pilots had to be highly skilled to manage these factors and still hit their targets at high speeds.